there, geeks, and welcome to another edition of the Wizards Wednesday Rewind. Oh, we've got a ton of new comics to tell you about that came out on September 11th, 2024, an infamous date, but maybe that will be replaced by entertainment and not the other events that happened so many years ago. So, what we're going to get into here first, I got to tell you, Mike, we put up the poll, and there are a lot of fans of Nightwing out there. And so I kind of knew when we included this on the poll that it was going to get a lot of the vote. Nightwing Uncovered. It was a one shot. I was so excited. Great, a one and done. I'm just going to get a complete story. I'm so excited. Well, I'm going to show you, since we have video to be our aid here, my experience in reading this book. Okay? Because this book is nothing but covers. This is just a gallery of Nightwing covers from the last few years, and it has the flimsiest framing device of Barbara Gordon in an apartment with a dog. I assume she and Nightwing live together. They have a dog together or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's just talking a little bit like for a page, and then it goes into a bunch more covers. And I'm not saying they're not beautiful. At the end, Nightwing pops up in a window in costume and talks to her, and then it's over. And I was so upset that because when I got there, I saw this cover. That's what I was going to buy. It's $6. There was a $10 lenticular cover, and I thought that was a cool gimmick. I almost bought it, and I'm so glad that I resisted. I just need to get over the flipping through a few pages before I buy a book in
You
the store.
have to. Adam, you have to. That is insane. My shop didn't get it in, for good reason, I guess. But I saw, I feel like this is kind of a normal thing, maybe, because I saw Somna had like a new book out, and I was like, that was a three-part series. What is this? And it was just covers as well. So I don't know if this is like new. Who is buying that?
I
Like,
know. Well,
just buy the
that's what I'm
hardcover where you
saying.
have the.
You and I, we are definitely readers of comics, but
Yeah.
there are so many people who are lookers of comics. They are watchers of a cover comic and want to flip and look through the art. And it's been that way really since the 90s too. I mean, the image explosion was that. So I think we're sort of an anomaly. Our Wizards co-host Michael Canetti, a lot of his collection is just cool covers, and
Cool
he's got
covers,
stacks
yeah.
and stacks of cool covers that he likes. The reading, he'll maybe buy a trade eventually, but that's the thing. Like, there's so many people who are in it for the art, and I understand it. But I could do a good story with so-so art. Only art and no story, it's a no-go for me. So yeah, so hopefully I find a Nightwing fan out there, a friend of mine that I can deliver this to, because I was just like, there's nothing here for me. There's nothing here for me in this book at all. So mad,
What a
so mad.
waste. What a waste. Oh my
Let's talk
God.
about a book that we both bought that we both enjoyed.
Okay.
Take us into it, Mike.
Geiger. So this oh, you got the Francis Manipul cover. Look at
Yeah,
that. That's
he was on the
awesome.
show. I figured we got to get it.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. So have we spoken about Geiger at all on this show?
We've reviewed it before. Yeah.
We have. Okay, I've lost track of what we've talked about. But this follows issue 5 story where Geiger rescues his pet dog Barney from the electrocutioner. But
And we should
this
say it's a
issue,
two-headed wolf dog.
yes, he's right on the cover there. He's a
Yeah.
beautiful beast. Look at that. And Barney is suffering from PTSD, we discover pretty early on, and he wanders off and finds a zoo filled with mutant animals like himself. And it is such a cool detour issue, one-off issue. Like, to me, this is one of those issues where it's like this has awards potential all over it. I
Yeah.
don't know if Jeff Johns planned that or not, but
Well,
it
let's
is.
let's explain too, because it's animals. For a
Mhm.
good portion of the book, as it's setting up Barney exploring the zoo, it's silent. So,
It
like, I
is,
thought,
yeah.
is this going to be an all silent issue? And I was like, it's been done. Maybe, I mean, Gary Frank's a great artist, so he could probably pull it off. But I was a little hesitant. And then you get to this point. his first ally is a four-armed gorilla at the zoo who is so cool, and the gorilla does sign language, even though I'm sure Barney can't understand sign language. But then you have the thought bubble of what the gorilla is saying to him. There's a zebra that has a third eye in the middle of its forehead, and it's like there's these poachers that come into the zoo to, they want to basically, get the meat, get other, they have a thing for, there's different rules for mutant animals versus like the pure animals that are not, mutated.
Yeah, and did they say who they're selling it to, right? Did
Yeah,
they
they saved
say?
the queen. I
Yeah,
think these are
okay.
characters that exist in the Geiger universe from the previous series,
So you
right?
have to go back to the first volume because you'll see there's like the king and or prince, I forget what he is. I need to revisit the series, but it's in Las Vegas where the I guess the new monarchy lives. I don't remember now. And that's where they're presumably selling the pure meat to, right? Like not the mutant meat. This is great. I don't know what else to say
I mean,
about it.
what you have to
Yeah.
say about it is the acting, because this is basically Gary Frank. Like Jeff Johns didn't have to write much. Let's just put it that way. Gary Frank is doing all the acting for these characters to the point where Barney is leading a revolution, because we're saying he has PTSD, right? And then these poachers are killing off different animals in the zoo, and finally they attack one that he just can't stand anymore. He sees this sweet innocent zebra. You realize a dog has this morality, and he attacks the poachers, and that leads all the animals in a double page spread to come in as a full force and attack the poachers. And then the gorilla says, "Thank you for showing us the way." Like
I
this way to rise up and you stand up for ourselves. And it is so cool. Like
I spent a lot of time like looking though to see are there other mutants. There's a two-headed monkey. There's the four-armed gorilla. There's a rhino with a crazy horn. But could you notice any others? Like
I
that's
did
what I was.
they
Yeah,
mentioned there's a toucan they shot, and they have a debate, the poachers, over whether or not it had a lizard tongue.
tongue or
Uh,
not. Yeah.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even at first notice, except for the zebra, that they were mutant animals. So I was
Same.
just like,
The gorilla, I had no idea.
oh,
Yeah.
it was a cool reveal. So yeah, so it's like you say, it's a great just one-off issue that stands alone. If you haven't read Geiger, but you want just a taste of what they're doing, the creative storytelling, Geiger 6 has you covered. I mean, it was really cool.
I want to correct you on one thing. You
Yeah,
said Jeff didn't have to write too much. He still had to write every panel out.
that's true. Yeah. Dialogue
William
is what I meant.
Goldman said dialogue is the least important thing of any story. So
Yes, as a comic book creator, you certainly understand that. So as disappointed as I was in Nightwing, obviously
yes.
Geiger made me so happy. I literally was like, whoa, like in some of those panels, I thought they were so cool. But then I had to pick up two other issues of comics that I've just continued to collect that are continuing to get me excited. It was a great Wednesday to buy Spider-Man Reign 2.
Two.
Number 3. It gets very confusing with this title right now. It does show like old Peter Parker fighting old Miles Morales. That is not the focus of this issue. The coolest thing about this issue is that it has, for about 5 or 6 pages, an homage to basically everything taking place in Todd McFarlane's introduction of Venom. And it says this is a story that takes place, and they do all the layouts like Todd McFarlane, if you can see that there,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all the borders, and it's Mary Jane in that old outfit and all that kind of stuff. So it does that because the big reveal, spoiler for issue 2, was that in this reality, this past history that Peter Parker got transported to, now Mary Jane is Venom. And this issue explains why. I won't spoil that. There's a twist to it, but that, so that they're kind of doing that flashback, like, oh, it's stuff you knew, kind of. Here's the universe that you recognize, and they're like, here's where it diverged. And so it's really cool. It moves really quickly, but that was just a nice for 90s kids like us. It was just like, this is great.
I've been picking it up. I haven't read issue 2 yet.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I need to
Sorry, spoiler then
dip
for
into it.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Um,
That's fine.
but you also bought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Well,
right?
this was on the list, and I
Yeah,
think did it come in third for
yeah.
us? I couldn't find Nightwing. Thank God.
Yeah.
But this I had to grab. I grabbed issue one when I was in San Diego Comic Con, and it's introducing. It's interesting because Jason Aaron is introducing each of the characters um, one issue at a time. So the
Mm.
first issue was introducing, I think it was Raph, who is in jail, and a whole bunch of stuff happens with him there, and he escapes. This issue is Michelangelo, and he lives in Japan, and he's actually an actor, and he acts in like I guess ninja films or just action films, and he's not really happy with his life. And then he gets attacked by someone from the Foot Clan, and they look like kind of crazy looking. They got like I don't know if that's
Oh,
just
that's
the
cool.
coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. The artwork is beautiful. Um, it we still don't really know what's happening. Like I still like it's an interesting way to slowly introduce them, but I don't know what this series is about other than they're getting back together. Because by the end of this issue, Raph and him meet, but Mike hates him.
Oh.
Yeah. So I never read the previous series, or at least not the last issues where they ended. So I don't know why they've disbanded, why they're in the places they're in. But it's interesting. I just need more. I feel like I need more story to understand why I need to care.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep following. By issue four, we'll have all four turtles.
Well, that's the plan. That's what they've
Yeah,
got so
exactly.
far.
So yeah,
Uh,
for any Turtles fan, I think it's a must. Like you kind of have to pick it up. Yeah,
it's the current story. It's the current continuity.
exactly.
You got to get in
Yeah.
on it. Speaking of which, so this other series that I've been purchasing, that the first two issues I felt were like a lot of setup and introductions, really got cooking with issue three, and that is the
Ooh.
Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age.
Yep.
I was excited to grab this. As you can see here, we have a power ring, and it turns out this is Alan Scott in this alternate universe.
Oh.
We see how he gets this power ring, and that he's not a good guy. He's like a charlatan flim flam man who goes around with his. What I thought at first, because he talks about having a hot air balloon and everything, I thought he was the professor from the beginning of Wizard of Oz, like that, who was the wizard, in her fantasy there. So that's what I thought. But what's really cool about this is it has like different sections. So it has the Alan Scott story. Then it has a Wonder Woman section where she's teamed up with Adam Strange, who's the one who I told you last time discovered the Kryptonian ruins. And then
Okay.
so there's all that. But then it's got this great sequence with Lois Lane. Okay. And I have to read this dialogue for you because if anybody out there gets a kick out of old timey dialogue, if you're a Conan O'Brien fan, he loves that stuff too. But I'm just going to read this for you here. It says that this is her complaining to Perry White. She says, I see a huckster peddling bunk, I debunk it. I see a fraudster flinging flim flam, I flatten it. Like, it's great alliteration. It's great, just like, I mean, and she's just a spitfire as you would expect from Lois Lane. So I'm really excited to see where her story goes because Luther now you see is in he's in Kansas for some reason. And what is he doing out there? He's setting up some experiment, and he actually Victor Stone, who in Cyborg and the main
Yeah.
continuity is now being recruited by Luther, and he's got somebody in a containment unit that seems to have electrical powers. We don't know who it is. That is who we're holding off to find out in issue four. So great teaser, great characters, just wonderful writing by again, this is like Andy Diggle. I feel like that's a name I've heard,
Oh
but
yeah, he's been around since the early 2000s. Yeah,
yeah,
great
so
stuff.
doing a great job here with
Okay, of all the books you've been bringing up, this sounds like the best to me. I need to jump on this.
it's
You've
very,
sold
I
me.
feel like because you love Hellboy, it's
Yeah.
very much like DC does Hellboy in a lot of ways.
Do you think Victor Stone will become like a steampunk type?
That's what I was assuming was, yeah, that's got to be on the horizon at some point for sure.
Yeah.
And I should say Batman is in this issue also. If it says Batman Gotham by Gaslight, he does have a cool sequence, like with some people who who are bringing in terrorists to Gotham, and so he's able to like interrogate this guy, but the way he captures him and does all that stuff is classic Batman, good stuff. So
Yeah.
all
Cool.
right, so yeah, so again, this was a great Wednesday. I was very
It was good,
excited
yeah.
by all the books that were available to buy. So those of you who haven't gotten out to the store yet, maybe you're going on Saturday, make sure that you get out to the store, grab some of these, catch up if you can, if your store has extra copies. Mike, of everything you read, did you prefer Geiger to Turtles, or
Oh yeah, Geiger. Turtles is just too slow for me. It's awesome. It's awesome in every way, but I need to get in. I need to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, Geiger would be my number one pick
Yeah.
for this week. I would just say if you guys are going to grab something and you haven't ever sampled Geiger, I think you would get a lot out of this just one-off story.
And I do have to say I also picked up the final issue of Masters of the Universe Revolution. If you're a Masters fan, definitely pick this up because you know what? Let's just do a spoiler. Because look how it ends.
Is
I
it
don't
just a
even
continuation of the animated series on Netflix, or
no, it's loosely tied in, I think.
okay?
But this was the
Female
final
Hordak?
page. Yeah, and you remember when She-Ra, I don't know if you knew this, She-Ra dressed as like Hordak for a
Oh,
while in like a comic series. And that's
that's
why I'm
cool.
like, who is this? Who is this? Is it her? I need a sequel. The end of the revolution and a new beginning. Maybe it's
Okay.
tied into the show. Maybe I need to watch the show again. I've forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. That's great stuff too. Yeah.
Beautiful art. Yeah, for sure. So there we go. That is what we have to offer you this time around. We hope that you are getting out to the shops and checking out what the world of comics is offering so that we can keep the hobby alive for new generations and our generation to keep enjoying it. But in the meantime, stay connected with us. Subscribe here on YouTube so you get the next video every time around that we're coming your way. Be sure to be subscribed also to what we're doing on the social media at Wizards Comics, at Wizards_comics on Instagram. If you want to go over to wizardscomics.com, you can check out our whole archive of past episodes. We got more coming up. Next, you're going to be hearing from some people who are fans of Wildstorm. There's a Wildstorm special that Wizard put out in 1999, hyping all their books post sale to DC. Maybe you dropped off before then. You want to see what was going on and catch up. Speaking of Wildstorm, we also, as this video is dropping this week, we just released a bonus review of the Gen 13 animated movie. If you've never seen it, it is on YouTube. You can give it a watch and then listen to our thoughts. We go very in depth on the history of the Gen 13 comic, and then we get into our thoughts on the animated movie as an adaptation. That's myself and William Bruce West. The rest of my Wizards co-hosts were either unavailable or not as knowledgeable. So you're getting two super fans of Gen 13 really talking about that. But anyway, thank you so much for checking out this video. And until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.